chapter 19, the book of 1 Kings. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 19. Elisha. Say Elisha. Elisha. Not Elijah, but Elisha. Elisha took the place of Elijah. Okay? When Elijah ran from Jezebel and went and sat out there and said, Lord, kill me. I'm the only one left. I'm the only prophet left. And poor little old me. And God had just got through sending down fire out of heaven and burning up the sacrifice and making Elijah look real good when he called on his God. His God burnt the whole thing up, and the prophets of Baal, they looked like fools. And then Elijah and his men went and cut their heads off, 850 of them. Just got there, but hey, how much better could you be feeling? You just cut off 850 people's heads with a sword. I mean, what kind of better day do you have than that? Right? Amen. Praise the Lord. You can go out and cut heads off all day long. And so, and that was his victory. Glory to God, victory. And God helped him overcome, and he went out and pouted. And this is where we're at now. Elijah, since he don't want to do God's work no more, and he's going to bail out on God, God's got a backup. Remember this, God's got a backup. God's got a backup plan. You know why? The only one that loses a blessing is you when you back out on God. When you back out on God, I don't care what the reason is, it doesn't matter. Well, it didn't go like I thought. Well, baby. It ain't always going to go like you think. Matter of fact, it's probably going to go way worse than what you thought every time. But that's part of it. That's serving God. Okay? It's not a walk in the park. It's not a bed of roses. I mean, honestly, we know that it's supposed to be a sacrifice. You're supposed to be sacrificing to live for God. It's not. You're not friends with the world. You're not popular. It's not fun every day. But that's what serving God is. But we're not supposed to get down about it. Don't get down about it. Because things happen all the time. Because God uses people to do His work. So 19 and 19. Chapter 19 and verse 19. So he departed thence, wrapped up with Elijah, fixing to go into Elisha. So he departed thence, that's Elijah, found Elisha, the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen before him, and he with the 12th. And Elijah passed by him, and listened, and cast his mantle upon him. Took off his coat, what they call his mantle. He took his mantle off, and as he walked by Elisha, he threw his mantle on Elisha. When Elisha was plowing in the field, he threw his mantle upon him. And he left the oxen, Elijah, and he left the oxen and ran after Elijah and said, Let me, I pray thee, kiss my father and my mother, and then will I follow thee. And he said unto him, Go back again, for what have I done to thee? And he returned back from him and took the yoke of oxen and slew them, and boiled their flesh with the excrements of the oxen, and gave unto the people, and they did eat. Then he arose and went after Elijah, and ministered unto him. You can be seated. So he sat there plowing 12 yoke of oxen. He's out in the field. They got 12 yoke of oxen side by side. They're plowing the field. Elijah comes by, throws his mantle on Elisha, and walks on. And Elisha says, What is this? What is this? He ran up to Elijah and he said, I'm going to kiss my mother and my father, and then I'll follow you. I'll be right back. And Elijah looks at him and goes like, I ain't done nothing to you. What are you talking to me for? Get back. And so he ran back to the field, killed the oxen, butchered it, boiled it, took the wood that the plows was made out of, took the metal and cut up the pieces of meat and boiled them, invited all the field hands in, said, y'all come on and eat. We're going to eat this oxen here because I'm leaving and I won't be back. I'm gone. I'm surrendered to the ministry of God. Elijah just threw his mantle on me, and I'm going to follow God fully with my life. And listen, now Elisha was a farmer. He loved farming. He must really love farming, pretty successful at it, if he's out there with 12 yoke of oxen. You see what I'm saying? The poor people didn't own 12 yoke of oxen, my friend. That was well-off people. And this is what he done for his whole life. And all of a sudden, in the midst of his life, as he conducted his life, God said, I need you. I need you to work for me. Now listen to me. Every one of us, to some degree, since we were saved, have had this conversation with God. Or we should have, or will have. If you haven't by now, you need to go call God when we get off through here and see what's going on, because he should have had you lined up by now. But if he hadn't, you might want to call him, because he something wrong. He put your name on the refrigerator and hadn't called back. But you should have been doing something by now. You should have a mantle cast upon you, and you should have taken on a mighty ministry for God. But it was decision time for Elisha. He's a farmer. He's a successful man. Everything's going his way. Life's going his way. And all of a sudden, God calls, and he said, I need you to put all that stuff down. I'm going to need you to go with me. Follow this man. I want you to follow Elijah. I'll tell you what to do from here on out. But right now, you to make a decision, you need to leave this behind. Told Peter, James, and John, said, boys, you fishing for fish is over. Y'all going to have to go fishing for men. All the people he called them out of a life that they were busy in. That they had stuff going on. They were doing stuff. They were living life. And God called. And there has to come a time that you understand that, yes, we do still make our living out in the world and all of that, and that supplements the work of God and helps with the work of God and the ministry of the church and the cause of Christ. That's the reason we work. But when God calls, it's yes. Yes, Lord, I'll go. Yes, Lord, I'll do. Yes, Lord. And I want to express to you how important that is in a church. In a church. I want you to think about what you do for Vision Baptist Church in the cause of Christ. Now, I can name 4 or 5 people in here, and I know what they do. Right? We know what they do. I know what I do. What do you do? What do you do at Vision Baptist Church? What is your title? Your position? What are you? What are you? Oh, I don't do nothing. That ain't right. That ain't right. Everybody in Vision Baptist Church tonight should have a position. Now, it may not be one that we vote on or whatever. That, listen, if you're looking for glory or honor, probably not the place to try to get on the list at. That don't come very often. But you're supposed to be, I don't care if when you walked into that list in there for next year's positions, when you walked in there and every position was taken and every line was packed and people wrote their name little bitty on the end of that line, and they were part of that. And that whole list was just packed as tight as it could be. But that should have what happened. The instant that the pens went into it, that's what should have happened. But if you go in there and it's like that, you should be so involved and so much aware that the mantle of God has been cast upon you to do a thing for Him, to do a work for Him, that you should have said, you know what? I don't have to go find a bottle of White House. I'm going to go on the paper down below this. I'm going to tear me off something. I'm going to put my name. I'm going to be one of them too. I'm going to be the assistant to the assistant's assistant. I'm going to be way down there on that line, buddy. I'm putting my name down. I'm doing something this year. I'm going to work for God this year. You know why? The devil's a liar when he tells you you can't do that vision. Listen to me. There's a lot of churches filling up this old land around here that you can't do that. This ain't one of them. This ain't one of them. We need you. We need you. All of our assistants needs assistants. So you need to be doing something. And this is the reason why. Because church begins to mean so much more to you when you know you have to be there. You have to be here for us to have church. You see? And it puts a responsibility on you, because if you don't, you just become all laggy-haggy, or I might go, might not, don't know. That's not the way you go to church. That ain't the way you're supposed to serve God. You don't serve God. I don't think I'm going to go today. You know, cut my toenails last night and they ain't feeling good. And I'm going to hang here at the house. Wait a minute, ain't you got something that you're going to do when you get out? Oh no, I just go down there to do nothing. Come on. You're supposed to be leaving the house, coming to do something, right? When you get down here. Why? Because you're needed. Everyone that's here, even the ones that think they are the least needed in this room, are needed. Okay? You're needed here to make this thing work. But listen, if not, then God don't know what He's doing. Why did He put you here? Oh, He just put some of you here just to fill up the place on the pew. No, He didn't. He doesn't do that. He doesn't need to fill up the pew with people that don't do anything. That's not what He's out to do. He's out to change your life by letting you get involved in the ministry. You don't matter if you ain't got, like I said, if there ain't no room for you on that whole cotton picking list. This is what you do. Come to Sunday school next Sunday. When you're sitting in your class while they asking questions and doing prayer requests, say, hey teacher, who's your assistant? Oh, well, I don't have one. Could I do that? Or if you don't want to do that, hang around out at the end of that hallway right there. Miss Jackie come out of her room and say, you got anybody helping you? You know, can I do that? Listen, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. And all you got to do is ask. You got to do is ask. And I'm going to tell you, unless you blind, knock big, now you got one leg and one tooth and a hair on your back, I'm going to go on and put you in something. And hey, I'll probably take you just like you are. I'll find something for you to do. It don't matter. That's what Elijah was saying to all the people there that he dressed out the oxen for, and he prepared to go. He said, y'all, I got to go. And I'm going for God. And probably ain't going to be back. Last meal together. So let's eat this oxen, and I'm going with Elijah. He did go with Elijah. And Elijah come and said, you know, I'm going to go. I'm leaving here. What do you want? What kind of blessing do you want? What kind of blessing you want coming with that mantle that I tossed on you? He said, I want twice what you got. He said, I want 2 times the spirit you got. He said, boy, you're asking something now. And he done twice what Elijah done in his life before he died. He was a mighty prophet for God. A farmer out of the field. They were right over beside the school of the prophets. But he wasn't over the school of the prophets. Seemed like Elijah would have went to that side of the road where all the sons of the prophets were at school at the university. And he went over to the university and thrown his mantle on somebody in there. No. He goes out in the field on the other side of the road from the college where they were training the preachers at, sending them to the cemetery, right across the road. He says, no, I'm going to go over here in the field. Cast my mantle on one of these boys. And he's going to be God's man. So you can't say, well, you know, I would do what Brother Jimmy said, but I just don't think I could do it. I don't think I could be a teacher. Sure you can. Do you know God? Well, of course. You have to know God if you're a member here. You can't be a member here and not know God. You have to know God. If you're on the membership of Vision Baptist Church, you got to be saved and baptized. So if you're saved and baptized, you got to know God. So if you're on the membership roll here, and you do know God, and you have to know God, if you're on the membership roll, then you don't have to depend on what you can do to do it. God can take you, make the best teacher Vision Baptist Church has ever seen. Have the most effective ministry that can be imagined. There are no limits. There are no limits on you. Why? God's your Father. He can make you into, turn you into, do anything with you He wants to do. He can do it. Look what I want you to look and see an exact example of what I'm talking about. Look at me. Man, you don't know me. You just don't know the miracle that I am. I'm a walking, talking miracle. Didn't know nothing. I don't know why God called me to do what He called me to do. I don't know why God has walked with me for so many years. I don't know why God didn't let me die when I had cancer and was supposed to. I don't know why God kept me here and had blessed me and blessed me and used me and used me and used me over and over and over. And I don't know why. And I'm going to tell you right now, probably everybody in this room right here, right now, is more qualified than I was when God called me. Probably everybody in this room is more qualified than I was when God called me. That's the truth. Oh, what a God. Oh, what a God we serve. Oh, what a God we serve. And He could do anything with you. And you know what? I can tell you this. Living for God gets to be a hassle. It gets to be boring. It gets to be discouraging. It gets to be lonely. It gets to be all these things sometimes. It does. It does. But I'm telling you, just one blessing, one time that you do something for God, and He comes and just rubs you across the brow, pushes your hair back, so that's a good boy. You'll forget every sacrifice you ever made, every struggle you ever had, when the hand of God touches you and says, good boy, keep it up, keep it up, good girl, hang in there. When God begins to talk to you like that, that makes Christian life a whole different thing. I mean, you just get to be, it becomes so exciting. What's God going to do next? What's God? I felt His hand brush my brow. Oh. I don't know for sure. But I just think God walk around that corner. I just got to go. I didn't see God. I didn't say I see God. I didn't say I seen God. I said I just felt like that He just walked off. He just walked around the corner. And I'm going to go stand over there at that corner where I think God just walked around at. But see, I have to remember this. All this is about is being what we are called to be for God. And remember this. We're going to heaven. It ain't that far away. Angels run back and forth all the time. It's just a hop and a skip from here to heaven. It's right there. It's right there. And when you leave, it ain't like, well, you're going to die and then you're going to go like on a 6-week journey through the mountains and through the valleys and cross the desert and you're going to wound up in heaven. Man, it is a blink. And you're in heaven. You're that close to heaven all the time. All the time. Regardless of what age you're at, especially for those of you that are in the golden years of your life, think about it. You know, if you was a little taller, you could brush the bottom of heaven. It's just right up there. The angels walk back and forth all the time. Lord sends them down here. They run do something, run back up there, run down here, run back up there, run all the time. It don't ever end. There's a non-ending train of angels running back and forth, doing God's work all the time. And you're almost tall enough to brush the bottom of heaven. My goodness. And Elijah says, I'm going to follow him. I'm going to follow him. Runs around behind Elijah. Elijah gets to the river Jordan, smacks the water. It stands up. He walks across it, floods back up. Elijah grabs that mantle. So I went twice what you got. I'm just kind of paraphrasing the story. Elijah, he throws his mantle across and it lands again on Elisha. And he strikes the water and it stands up. When it does, the chariot of fire comes down and Elijah steps into the chariot of fire. And he goes off in a blaze of glory. They're running back and forth all the time. And you can catch a ride anytime. The God's angels and all them, they got chariots and horses running around. You just can't. They're in another dimension that's just above what your conscious mind can comprehend. They're right there. They're right here. They're all over. They're everywhere. Let's say you think when you walk down this aisle, you're walking down this aisle by yourself. You're not. Angels is moving over, giving you space all around so you can get through. They crowd in here. They crowd in here when there's a service going on. And like I said, they're in a dimension that's only maybe about that big. Maybe about that big. That you can't comprehend. It's just beyond the conscious of the human being to comprehend it. But I promise you this, when you serve God with your whole heart, God let little holes get torn in the bottom of heaven sometimes. And when you really want a pick-me-up, and you're really, really, really down, and really out, and you're depressed, and you're worried, and you don't know what to do, sometimes God will tear a little paper cut hole in the bottom of heaven and let you just go like, oh my God, oh my God. There's angels up there. God's up in there. And he'll say, I'm going to put that back. Don't look too long. Get in there that long. And then you go on, and then you just so lifted up, so filled with the Holy Spirit to the running over, because you just got a little glimpse of what heaven's going to be like. You can run on that for 2 years. I'm talking about you ain't got to get another, you ain't got to stop by the gas station. You can run on the filling of the Holy Spirit, because you got to look at the little paper hole toward the bottom of heaven for just a second. And it'll turn your life around. Why does it turn your life around? Because it convinces you without doubt that there is a God in heaven. And there's a real heaven up there. And there's really a God in control. And when your life ends here, it starts there. And you walk into the gate of glory to God forever. there you are. And little did you know, Mama passed on years ago, back in 1984. And I wonder sometimes if when I'm looking through that hole, if she was to put her eyeball up to that hole and be looking at it when I looked in. So anytime that I see just maybe a little tear in the bottom of heaven, I'm going to run up there and look just in case Mama's looking. Because listen, I could see her eye and I know who it was. I know, and I think Mama's looked down on me a couple of times since she left here. And that means everything to me. Because I love my mama. And she left when I was 24 years old. But just think about living life. Live life tomorrow. Remind yourself that just beyond where you can reach is the bottom of heaven. And all that God's got going on is going on right there. Just right up there. And He's waiting. He's waiting on you. And there's been a mansion built. He said, let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again, receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Even if I'm working on a place for you. And somewhere inside that little peephole, if you could get the right angle, you could actually maybe get a glimpse of your mansion up there. Because it's there. If God said it's there, it's there. Because I believe everything God says. I believe everything God said. He said, I got a mansion in heaven. I don't doubt it for a second. The only way that I can miss it is if I'm not His. If I'm not really His. If I've never went to Jesus and said, Lord, forgive me of my sin. I do believe that you came into the world, that you lived a perfect life and gave that perfect life for me. Because of my sin, you died. And I thank you, Lord, forgive me and save me and make me yours. Then, that's your heaven. It ain't something I'm talking about that you don't get to be a part of. It's part of what you're a part of. So if I think that, if I keep myself encouraged that way, why can't everybody else? Why can't you? Why can't you? Well, brother, you see, is you don't really understand what life is about. You live in a little bubble that don't have any problems in it or anything like that. But if you live down here with us real people, you better wake up, cuckoo. I know what problems are. I know what broken hearts are. I know what broken dreams are. I know what abandonment is. I know what hurt is and pain is and loneliness and sorrow and all those things. I don't you think I don't know. If anybody does, I do. I don't live in no bubble. I'm just like you. But you know why? I keep reminding myself that He's right up there. He's right there. And He's right here. And the devil can only do just so much. And then the Lord shut him down. He jerked my chain just one time too many. And God will be all over him. But He knows that. And I know that. And regardless of how bad it looks, my God is faithful. When I get ready in my heart to say, Father, I'm sorry. I walked off. I want to come back. He will step out and say, come on. I've been waiting on this. I've been waiting on this. Thought about this. When the prodigal son come back, I love the song about when God ran. This father was waiting for the prodigal son to come back. And the boy finally came to himself in the pig pen and said, hey, even the servants of my father's got it better than this. I'm going back to my father's house. And I'm going to tell him, Father, I've sinned against you and against heaven. And I know I've been stupid and I've done some wrong things. But listen, I don't want to come back and be your son. I just want to be one of your hired servants. Lord, that's, Father, forgive me and take me back and listen to me. The Father, when He seen the boy, the Bible says, afar off. I don't know how far off. And that's the place, typology in types, of us going to the Heavenly Father and Him receiving us. So in my mind, that's a picture of God in me. And then when God saw me, even with the pig slop and everything that I had clinging to me, He never let up. When He seen me, He come running. The Bible said He ran to Him and fell on His neck and kissed Him and said, my son is back home. That's what God's ready to do. Right now, to any of us that are willing to say, Father, I've sinned and I've done wrong. Receive me back. And He said, hey, you're not going to be a servant. You're still a son. Well, we're fixing to kill the fatty cat. Bring me a ring and a robe and some shoes and put on this boy's feet. He's one of mine. That's what God ran to tell him. And you know why? I think not only God ran because He wanted to see His son come home, but I think this. I think He ran and met him out yonder in the field because He wasn't going to let him get too close to the house because all them people would start running him down. He wanted to make it clear to those folks, that's my boy. I don't care what he's done. I accept him back wholly. I accept him back fully. Just like if you don't say a word, that's my boy. And I think that's why God ran, because He wanted to get to him before any of them self-righteous hoo-hoos started discouraging him and putting him down and saying, well, you know he messed up. You know what she done. You know why she was gone from church. You know what happened on you. Well, him, come around the corner here and I'll tell you, why don't you keep that to yourself? Why don't you go and pick somebody up and encourage somebody rather than sharing all that gossip and slop? Don't do that. That's not what we're here for. We're here to catch them when they fall. We're here to pick them up when they're down. We're not here to judge people. Listen, we've never been put here on the earth to judge. God's got the judging part down pat. That's not what He needs us for. He needs us for the work of ministry. And I'm going to tell you that's in this room right here, right now, you ain't doing what you ought to be doing. You ought to put your hand to the plow. Hook up, let's go. Well, I don't know what I can do. Anything. 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 Well, you don't know what people think about me. You know. Why don't you forget all that? Why don't you put all that in the past? Why don't you just get to the point, you know what? It don't matter what all them think. I ain't serving all them. I'm trying to serve God the best way I know how. And I don't maybe know how like you do. But all I need is want to. God can use it. That's what Elijah did. He done and thought about it. The Lord spoke to him. This is backing the story up a good bit. But when Elijah was in the cave and he had a servant and he told him to run out and look to see if there was any rain, and God passed by the mouth of the cave, and He wasn't in the wind, and He wasn't in the fire, and He wasn't in the storm, but then a still small voice came. Listen to me. The only reason God speaks to you in a still small voice is this: you could not bear the majesty of the voice of a holy God. If He spoke with His true voice. Listen, when the children of Israel heard Him speak, when Moses was coming down and off the mountain, and the Lord went down and spoke to them, the people were shaking in their boots, and they said, Moses, let him talk to you. Don't let him talk to us no more. He scares us. You just go talk to him for us, Moses, and tell him what he said. That's why God whispers. Because you couldn't bear the majesty and the might of the voice of an almighty God speaking to us in an open, audible voice. Will blow the walls out of this building. The volume couldn't be contained in here. Blow your eardrums out. Explode you. You're just like a piece of popcorn. God was to speak in an audible voice. like a piece of popcorn, you'd be gone. So thank God he speaks in a still small voice. Y'all get the message tonight? Amen?
Yeah.
I think it was God sent it. I think it was for you. I thank God for using me to speak to you. There's folks in this room that are hurting tonight. God sure does love you just like you are. There's folks in this room that just don't know what to do. There's folks in this room that even from me, listen to me, even from me, I look at them and I see their life. And it breaks my heart for them to live in the distress that they're living in. But sometimes it feels like to me that they're down a deep, dark well. And I don't know what to do to get them out. I want to get them out. But I don't know what to do other than to love them, encourage them, and help them. When they ask, do everything I can do for them. Try my best to keep them from asking and just do for them because I know what they need. But I feel like sometimes people get down a dark well and they're in great despair. I just want to send down that well tonight. Tell you, God sure does love you. And I know you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, you know what? That ain't much. Listen to me. You're everything to God. You mean a lot to God. And don't let the devil tell you that lie. There ain't much to you. There's a lot to you. God still loves you, and God wants to bless you. He wants to bless you like you are. Father, we close. I love you, Lord. I thank you for loving me. I thank you for the folks in this room tonight. I thank you for the call of Elisha. Lord, I remember that call in my life. And Lord, I remind myself every day that there's a call on my life and I can't quit. I can't quit. So God, I want you to help all of those in this room right here tonight. Not talking about the folks that's not in this room, God. Talking about the folks that's in this room under the sound of my voice, under the anointing of the Holy Spirit. God, that have heard the message that you sent. God, I ask you to help them act on what they've heard. Lord, if there's a lost person in this room tonight, God, that they'll be saved. God, that as we end the service, they'll come to me. Lord, if they need me to pray with them, whatever it is, God, you're ready to save them. And Lord, if they're a lady and they want to find one of the ladies to go to the altar and pray with them and receive Christ, whatever the need is, or just pray, or just a hug, or just an encouraging word. Lord, let us look out for each other. Let us love each other like a church should. Lord, let us get ready for the new year. We got children, God, looking at us. We're supposed to be conducting ourselves, God, in a way that's proper in front of you and in front of them. So, God, help us be what we called to be. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.